is DJ Mac. What we already know is that at age 24, he's one of the most sought after producers in new age dancehall. Apart from an impressive list of accomplishments as a DJ, Mac has under his belt published works with new age dancehall names like Jashi, Valiant, Chronic Law, Ritical, Skillibeng, Vibes Cartel, and Top Man, to name just a few. DJ Mac, right now, right here on our stage with more about who he is and to also exhibit new works. Mac, sir, welcome, Bridget.
That is
so
it.
good to have you, sir.
That is it.
All right, so start with your journey, sir, to here. Where are you coming from?
Coming from every typical standard DJ, virtual DJ. You know, everybody experiment with virtual DJ once in them life. If it wasn't for you, then it just wasn't for you. But I definitely carried it on going throughout my entire high school life. So I started off as a disc jock first, going into like the DJ competitions all around town, Wolmer's barbecue competition, this school competition, win some, lose some. You get me? But that never really stopped me from continuing into like pursuing like production side of things. So even during the entire time of high school, I used to be like the school DJ. So every Wednesday, Devotion, me would up there play Devotion. So I used to get the motivation from a teacher, them, from the rest of my friends, them, and they must say, oh, you know, say if I continue with this thing I do, so I say, oh, all right. If them believe, that means to me, I will start believing in myself too, because self-belief, that alone I need for continue. If other people believe now, yeah, that means it must work, you get me? So it wasn't until later down in high school now where I did actually make a connection with another one of the students at JC. His name is TJ Torrey. He was actually the first person to really introduce me into like the production world, like making rhythms and making beats and all that. So me and him really came up together. He's actually the producer of Party Time Where the Weed, yeah, the rest of that song. So it was at that point now later down in high school, right before about to graduate, I really got interested in production through TJ. So we did a couple projects before. Our first song was Gapix Feelings, and then my second song in production was actually the Skillibeng song, Who. This was about 2019, a little bit before COVID, when I actually started production like that. But I've been DJing from probably around 2013, 2014 throughout the entire high school. You get me? So a little bit after that, after the first couple projects with my friend, at that time I got a connection with Kyle Butler through an ex-friend at high school, during high school time. So I was doing a lot of work with Dynasty at the time. That's how we know My Letter to You Rhythm, Ritical Chosen, Squash Ratio, Cartel, Black Woman. And then further down, we matriculated into doing like more projects and more projects. So we had Still a Bleed Rhythm, that's Chronic Law, Still a Bleed, then Jashi, the upcoming artist at the time, 25-8, Squash Again. So it was just really a lot of moving factors at the time. I was just moving and just working and just working and just working. And at that time, I really young in the production world, so everybody I look and I say, oh, who them you how do them something here? You get me?
So they started looking for you, wanting to know about you and so on? The space, that is?
Yeah. So it was around that time when, everybody started to zone in and look in and say, oh, who them two youth here? We just mash down the place, the whole of them hit song, you get me? It wasn't until, fast forward to 2020, it wasn't until then when I did Born Fighter with Jashi. That was definitely the point in my life where I know I say, all right, you know, this thing way more serious than we think, because that song actually put me on the map in terms of the producing world. So I have to give a lot of respect to Jashi. So even up to this day, forever my artist, forever my friend. You get me? So we actually know each other from high school too, because when I was in the DJ competitions, he was in the actual DJ competition them as well. So from long time, me all play him tracks them, and him a DJ in front of high school and Excelsior and all of them things. So a long time I know Joshua. You get me? So more than just musical connection, like brotherly connection from like them time. You get me?
So where's DJing now? Are you still doing that?
Yeah, man, definitely. December gone, we did the Burna Boy concert. We opened the Burna Boy concert. Me and DJ Baba, that's my partner. So he works on the mic and I select.
Yes.
You get me? A lot of other big shows before that. Sons went overseas to play in Atlanta a couple months ago. Overseas shows before that, Atlanta, Miami, Rum Punch Brunch. So the selecting part is definitely still there, but as I said, the whole production side of stuff just boosts the entire brand itself to more than just being a selector. You get me? So everything working hand in hand now. So because of this big song, bookings and vice versa, you get me? So the respect is just there as a musician on a whole and not just a producer, executive producer. You get me? Because at the end of the day, I still play a big part in the productions itself. I record, mix, all of those stuff in the production side. Right?
So where did you get all of this? Let's go back now to your roots. A little further back now than where you started. As a kid coming up and so on, where did you get the inspiration? Who, the family, what, how?
Right, honestly, the real inspiration for music was when my sister used to go Andrews and she used to always bring home them like a Black Rhino and the Empire CD them. And she used to put them in a little laptop and play them through speakers. So from them time, I hear about this Gaza and Gully and all of them things. But Black Rhino was our artist. So every day I hear Black Rhino. Every day I hear Black Rhino. But at the time, that was my first real exposure to dancehall, because whenever I really listened to dancehall like that growing up, but it wasn't until that moment where my sister started listening to dancehall. Then my brother, when him go high school now, him start listening to dancehall, and it just a playing at the house 24/7. So that is where the real inspiration. I say, oh, which artist this are? Which song this? So I start to do my own research about it. You get me? So come I find out about the whole my father cartel stuff. So it was just really an interesting thing to look in, more than just the artist itself, but more the songs and what they was saying and the type of beats and the type of rhythm and how them could have mixed together. So it's at that time now I say, all right, wonder if I could have download them songs for YouTube and try mix them together, try make a little mixtape. You get me?
Okay.
So it was from them time they really get the inspiration from music itself. You get me?
So at that time, now, let me just, how wide is your repertoire in terms of what you consume and what you go to for material, for production?
For inspiration.
Yeah, you can start with inspiration. Do you have boundaries as it relates to genres and eras and so on?
I wouldn't say eras, but when it comes on to genres nowadays, what I've been mostly listening to is mostly like Afrobeat. You get me? Because I see that it kind of making a fuse into our world in a sense, so there must be a way how we can, like how they're taking our stuff and fusing it over there must be a way we can fuse their stuff with our stuff. You get me? So that's where I really see like the bridge going right now. And not much people see it because it's not exposed like that as yet, but that's definitely where the bridge is going.
Well, it's good to hear you
now.
say that, because it's a reggae dancehall platform, Afrobeat, that they're on, and so too is reggaeton. So that you, a youngster like you, is with this level of success, and you're thinking like that. That is what we would like. We the old stars would like to see you do.
Yeah, definitely.
No pressure, but yeah, that because you see, platform. I mean, it's 1 billion on that continent, Africa, and reggae and dancehall had been their first most loved music for a long time, and we're not paying them no mind. Right? Reggaeton, they're just over there, so in Central and South America, all of Latin America now onto it, and it's reggae. It came out of dancehall.
Yeah.
Right. So if the people who are consuming their music The only difference here is the lyrics, the language.
The lyrical content alone.
Yes.
The difference.
So we this is something we calling on people like you to do, to exploit these platforms.
I mean, I wouldn't say exploiting the platform, but just getting creative with the music, because what really going on now is kind of not that creative and it's not that fun anymore, I would say.
Yes.
It's kind of, it's...
Well, go on now?
Yeah, it's not that fun.
But it's your music.
No.
It's your era.
No, it's my era, but I'm not the only person who contributes to it, understand? Yes. So I have a big contribution to it, so I can only do my part.
So you're being honest that it could be better?
It definitely could be better, because it's repetitive at this point where it is now. We've been in this for probably 5 years now.
Yes.
So I definitely feel like a change can come forward. It's needed. It can come forward right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting too.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Because, the youth energy is critical to the survival of any music genre.
Yeah.
Your energy and your compatriots. So, that is good news for the music when we hear this from you, Rude Boy, because we've been out there and see it, and the world is asking, what happened to Jamaica?
Exactly.
The world are asking, and I don't know to what extent artists know the extent of it. Are they wearing blinders or what? The thing is, the people are saying, where Jamaica there?
It all comes down to, when you're in your own space, you don't really see it, but you see when you go out in the world and you travel, you realize that most of what we're doing now is not really playing over there. Mm-hmm. So even on the Atlanta scene, probably the most recent song they know is probably something that dropped 2 years ago or 1 year ago. Not even something that was dropped last week. So they're not really that in tune to what we're doing right now, because they can't understand it, and the next thing they can't find it, because it's not really showing up on their radar like that, because it's not relatable. You get me? So that has a lot to do with why the stuff not really transcending go over to that part. You get me?
Well, brother, it's good. I'm glad we're doing this chat, because it sounds like there's something happening, and when we hear the consciousness and that you have about Wagwan, because there's consumption, and there is promotion, and there is distribution, and so and there's of course the production. Now production is sometimes freestyle. A man just express himself. Self-expression is critical to music. Just express what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Okay? But that it will become hit or even deserve to be released into people's ears is sometimes maybe a no should be put on certain things.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lecture you on it. You're on the right path, Bridget. I like what you said. So let's talk now about some of the present work that you're putting out, the projects that you now have. You're going to perform. We're going to have a performance with Top Man, one of your artists, right?
Yeah, and he's going to Melody.
And Melody. And they're going to be performing your produced records.
Yeah.
Okay. So so what else is going on with you?
Actually working on a project right now that includes it's the same fusion of the Afro with the dancehall, so it's it's slow, but I know that you will definitely get the traction, because that's slow, the groovy Afrobeat, but in a dancehall way with the dancehall lyrics, you get me? Right now we have a collaboration with Armani and Egyptian on it. We have Craft on it, just to name a few. So that's the next project that we're really working on for the big time scene right now, because from I say Armani, who is a young act, and then Egyptian, who is a legend, you're supposed to know the kind of connection we're trying to make. You get me? So that's a project that's definitely going to be coming out this year. So that's one to look forward for sure.
All right, DJ Mac. Bless you, sir.
Bless you.
It's great to meet you, and it's great to have you on our stage. And we look forward now to a performance that you will unleash for us.
All right.
Okay? And no pressure, but we're looking for great things from you, brother. All right, so there you have him in this segment. DJ Mac. Wow, what a youngster.